I never thought a flimsy piece of paper slapped on my front door could ignite one of the most satisfying moments of payback in my life. Picture this, stumbling outside, coffee still steaming, only to find a fancy wedding invitation thick ivory cardstock, gold-embossed letters listing my backyard as the venue for some stranger's big day. Not my name on it, mind you. I blinked, half expecting a prank, but that invite was too polished for teenage antics or nosy neighbors pulling a stunt. Emily and David Whitaker meant nothing to me, but their wedding was supposedly happening on my land in 3 weeks flat. Confusion hit first, then disbelief, then a white-hot spark of I'm being screwed over. I'm Thomas Bennett, 38, just moved back to Crestwood after my grandmother passed. I've been pouring my soul into restoring her old Victorian farmhouse 5 acres, stunning old gardens that used to grace home and garden spreads, all thanks to Grand Margaret Bennett, who could make dirt sing. I inherited the place, took leave from my architect job in Seattle, and started fixing the sagging porch, the finicky plumbing, the overgrown peony beds Gran adored. Even in its rough state, the house was a treasure. That morning, I took the invite inside and dialed the number on the bottom, trying to stay calm. Whitaker Caldwell Wedding, Emily speaking, came a saccharine voice. I explained, as politely as my rising blood pressure allowed, that there must be a mistake about the venue. She laughed it off. Oh, you mean parking? Don't worry, we've told guests to use Elm Street. Your driveway's safe. I nearly choked at the audacity, but kept it together. No, MS. Whitaker, I own this property, and I never gave permission for a wedding. Dead silence. Then her sweet act dropped, and she got sharp. This is absurd. I paid the Crestwood Heritage Association. Your house is listed as a historic wedding venue. It's all set. Take it up with Diane Morgan at the HOA. We have a contract, 200 guests flying in, and the venue will be ready. Click. She hung up on me. I wasn't even part of the HOA. Gran bought this land specifically to stay outside their reach. So I went online and found a glossy website showcasing historic venues for weddings. There was my House Bennett Gardens in vivid photos, my photos taken without my consent. Diane Morgan, HOA president, was listed as the booking contact, with rates starting at $4,500. I remembered Diane. She'd shown up my first week here with a stack of HOA forms, acting like she ran the town. I'd told her, nicely, to get lost. Now she was renting out my home like it was hers. I grabbed my keys and drove to the HOA office, stormed past the front desk, and demanded to see Diane Morgan. No pleasantries, no patience. 10 minutes later, I was ushered into a conference room. Diane sat at the head, dressed like a senator in her blazer and pearls, flashing a practiced smile. Mr. Bennett, what's the issue? I laid it out. You're advertising my house as a wedding venue, taking money, letting strangers throw parties here. Stop it now. She stayed cool as ice, claiming Gran had signed up last year. Someone slid a document across the table, supposedly Gran's signature. I spotted the forgery instantly. Gran was in hospice 3 months before she died, barely able to hold a spoon, let alone sign anything. This is fake, I said. Diane's smile tightened. It's legally binding, witnessed by 2 board members. Your grandmother understood the value of community support. Margaret Peterson, who owned the local floral shop, chimed in about how 60% of the booking fees were for property upkeep, like that justified it. I'd never seen a cent. I asked where the money was going. Awkward glances, shuffled papers. There's a reserve fund, Diane insisted. We were going to approach you about improvements. I asked how many bookings there were. 3. They admitted this wedding, 2 more in July. I laughed, no humor in it. You'll hear from my lawyer. Start calling those brides and refunding their money, or you're getting sued for fraud. Diane tried to flex. Crestwood Estates represents 300 homeowners, drives tourism. It's in your best interest to cooperate. Her smile was a veiled threat. I shot back. Is that supposed to scare me? But I knew the game. Diane had connections, her cousin on the city council, her brother-in-law a local judge, her influence in every business in town. I took it to David Harrington, Gran's old lawyer. He agreed the signature was laughable. Gran would have never signed on. This wasn't just about money, it was about control. My property was the last big parcel outside HOA jurisdiction, and Diane wanted it. David handed me a folder Gran had left. Land surveys, deeds, city letters proving she'd rejected every HOA offer to join or sell. She knew they'd come for it eventually. But paperwork wouldn't stop a wedding 3 weeks out, and Diane wasn't backing down. That night, sitting on the porch, Henry Jenkins, the old groundskeeper, pulled up in his beat-up truck. He'd heard about my trouble and shook his head. "Your grandma would have told Diane to shove it," he said, making me laugh for the first time all day. Henry explained Diane's playbook. Start small, then escalate. Most folks were too scared to fight her. "You can go along, fight in court, or get creative," he said with a grin. "Sometimes, the only way to beat unreasonable people is to be spectacularly unreasonable yourself." 3 days later, I sent a cease and desist letter. The HOA's lawyer countered, threatening to sue for breach of contract. Fine, I thought, let's see how you handle public humiliation. I dug into Emily and David's backgrounds. She was a realtor, he a contractor, both tight with Diane's circle. This wedding was a business deal, not just a party. I called local companies unaffiliated with the HOA, explained the scam, and found more resentment toward Diane than I expected. People were eager to help. The Saturday before the wedding, I launched my counterattack. At 7:30 a.m., 3 trucks rolled up barely legal. One was a portable toilet company, lining up 20 neon green porta-potties across my front lawn. Next, a pest control crew, planting bright orange warning signs everywhere. Finally, a landscaping company, unloading a backhoe for garden renovations. My real neighbors, once I explained the situation, were all in. Within an hour, a crowd gathered, snapping photos, whispering. Then Diane screeched up in her Lexus, furious. "What are you doing?" she shrieked. I played dumb, clipboard in hand. "Major renovations, new fountain, replanting, starting Monday." Her face cycled through every shade of red. "The wedding's next Saturday." I shrugged. "Oh, that's too bad. I never agreed to host, and this is my property. I'm making improvements. Porta potties are for the crew. They'll be here for weeks." Emily arrived, saw her dream wedding site turned into a construction zone, and lost it. Diane tried to calm her, but Emily's tears turned to rage. She screamed at Diane for lying about the venue. The crowd ate it up, more phones out, rumors flying. Diane tried to call it a technicality. I cut her off, showing Emily the fake contract with Grand's forged signature. "Sorry, MS. Whitaker, you paid under false pretenses. I never got a penny." Emily turned on Diane, demanding answers. I felt bad for her, so I pulled David aside and tipped him off about another venue I'd secured, Willowbrook Lodge, opened by a last-minute cancellation, with a discount for the trouble. He thanked me, stunned. "Not everyone here's like Diane," I told him. By then, the spectacle was out of Diane's control. Wedding guests, the planner, even Emily's dad showed up, all demanding refunds and answers, yelling at Diane as neighbors watched. Social media exploded, photos everywhere, the story spreading about the HOA president forging signatures, pocketing fees, and botching a wedding. Diane's authority vanished in real time. Within a day, the HOA board suspended her. The city council confirmed my property was outside their control. Refunds were issued, and Diane's husband started distancing himself fast. The wedding went ahead at Willowbrook Lodge. The couple sent me a thank you note and a bottle of bourbon. Diane faced fraud charges, her real estate license under review, her reputation in tatters. She sold her house and fled to Arizona. The HOA was gutted, new leadership, new rules, full transparency. By summer, Grand's gardens were blooming again, Henry helping me replant her beloved peonies. Neighbors stopped by, not to complain but to admire. Even Margaret Peterson apologized, she had no idea what Diane was up to. Most of the board quit, calling for reforms. The town saw how badly they'd been played. That first night the gardens glowed again. I threw a party for everyone, old neighbors, even ex-HOA folks. Under string lights, with live music and the scent of peonies, Henry raised a glass. Your grandma would be proud, not just for the flowers, but for standing your ground. I toasted Gran, feeling her spirit in every breeze, every blossom. That wedding that never was became bigger than a party. It united a community, rooted out corruption, and let something honest grow. I learned you beat bullies by standing in the open, letting everyone see the truth, and never backing down. If another bride comes knocking, I'll decide on my terms: no porta potties, no backhoes, just respect, and maybe a bourbon toast to new beginnings.